Yeah. So let's kick off. Building in public.
Building in public.
Updates since last time. We got a real drive to use the minimum number of tools for the maximum impact.
Yeah.
And really over the past few weeks, we've been in Notion and pitch.com. And of course the generative tools as well. But those two tools, Notion to manage our company information, our sales information, pitch for all our presentations, proposals, talks, everything else. And we spent most of our time in there, right? Getting those up to date, getting them ready to go.
80%.
80%.
And it is interesting. I did use Notion previously, and I was a little bit reticent to get back into it, but it is useful. It's very helpful as a to kind of contain everything, and some of the kind of generative tools in it we're starting to use as well, kind of useful. Pitch I found really easy, pitch.com. I think it's very useful. It took me a little while to get out of Keynote, to be honest, old school. I'm not a PowerPoint man, Keynote was always my thing. But I think it's worthwhile, isn't it, when you start something new, try and use the new tools.
Yeah.
And kind of, do what you say you do, basically. Keep it simple, keep it low key, and get out and talk about what we're doing a bit more.
Yeah, exactly. And I only found pitch really because somebody very politely told me one of my other presentations was really boring. And they went, have you tried this? and since then, we've been hooked, right? It's been absolutely great.
Yes, it's a good
And
tool.
the other thing we found was in Notion, as we got our sales wiki set up, so we imported a template, we've got all our key contacts in there, we've got all our opportunity pipeline in there. We've also used it to be the sort of the core bit, the source of truth around all of our presentations, talks and everything else. And it's got a lovely little pitch integration where once you've got it set up, you can just type /pitch, put a presentation in, and it embeds it really nicely into Notion. So again, if as we bring people in, get them up to speed on what we're doing, build out the team, everyth's in Notion, everything somebody needs to use is in there, and it's super accessible.
Yeah, that's really important, isn't it? When you're starting something new, not to make or to learn, isn't it? That's part of the day one, isn't it? Always with any business, is not to, because you all get used to certain ways of working, but actually, and it is quite difficult sometimes, isn't it? To start, okay, we're going to do this and not make those mistakes again, and just keep things really lean and simple.
Yeah.
But then that works, right? Because that gives us more opportunity to talk to our clients about that sort of stuff, rather than worrying about what's happening internally. With complicated systems within the business. I think that's the direction of travel anyway, right?
Yeah, and that combination of being lean, but like you said, making sure there's enough there set up so that as you grow as a business, it's scalable and you're not falling at every hurdle. You're not bringing in your first 5 employees and then having to scrabble around, giving them logins to 19 different systems and work out what to do. We've got one place that is going to be the core, and every time we bring new team members in, they can build on that. Yeah. And I think that's just lessons from the past and having had too many systems and too many things running. So
yeah, definitely. And there's always shiny new thing syndrome, isn't it? Particularly with all the tools that are out, not just generative ones, but all of the tools out there. It's quite good to just keep it slim, isn't it? Keep it kind of focused and work on the stuff we should be working on, basically.
Yeah. And we should talk about building in public, your stroke of genius.
Genius.
Your absolute creative genius burst. The book.
The book.
Yeah.
The book. Your Job is Safe.
Oh, it's so good.
An AI guide for human people. Fantastic. So the book. So we've written a book. It's it's slightly humorous. Some call it mildly amusing. Some call it very unfunny. Take on the world of generative and AI, the tools and the scenarios that businesses could get into and might not get into. As always, with a bit of comedy, there is some truth to it as well. And the process has been interesting too, because some of the tools within generative were used to create the book as well. So things like, quite a lot of the popular tools, and it went through all of them, went through Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, Firefly, Clip Drop, a whole bunch of other ones to get to these really good kind of funny elements. ChatGPT was used for some of the text, but to be honest, it didn't really have the nuance.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell you've written a lot of it yourself in there.
Is it really sarcastic, bitter, and a bit twisted?
Yeah, it's not as sarcastic, bitter, and twisted as you are. There's no doubt about it. I don't think any AI will be. Although saying that, do you remember Tay?
I remember Tay. I remember it well.
That was almost at your level, wasn't it?
It was almost on that level. But we haven't been cancelled yet, to be fair.
No.
And we are a month in.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. But it's gone well, isn't it? It's interesting. using the tools themselves, taking an interesting take, being memorable as well, right? Just
Yeah.
doing something a bit more engaging and interesting. So we have got a book. You can download it on generate.com/download.
Yep.
Drop in your email and you'll get basically the world's first and best and funniest book on AI that's relevant right now.
That's it. Of the 3 people I've shown it to, 2 have really liked it. So
Have they?
I mean, that's, you know, it's as good as a
And if my mental maths is correct,
3.5 or 4-star review.
that's 90% on my mental maths. It's a strong point.
We'll call it 90%.
90%,
Yeah,
brilliant.
exactly.
So yeah, download
it is awesome. It is awesome.
Thank you, mate.
You've got to go and see it. And we're sending it to a few people
We are.
as a little gift. So
We are. Pulitzer Prize, here we come.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
It's going to be done.
Excellent.